Power is everywhere, in offices, families, friendships, politics, and even silence. Yet most people move through life pretending it doesn't exist. This book begins with an uncomfortable truth. Power does not disappear just because you ignore it. And before we go any further, if you want to understand human behavior, psychology, and real-world dynamics through books, subscribe to the Book Day and become better than yesterday. This book is written by Robert Greene, a writer who spent years studying history's most powerful figures. Kings, queens, generals, politicians, and strategists. He didn't study them to glorify power, but to understand its patterns. His conclusion was simple and unsettling. Human nature hasn't changed. Technology evolves, systems change, but behavior repeats. Greene wrote the 48 Laws of Power after years of working under manipulative bosses, observing office politics, and feeling powerless himself. Instead of complaining, he studied. He read biographies, historical accounts, and strategy texts. What he discovered became this book, a manual not for becoming evil, but for seeing reality clearly. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that power is only about authority or position. In reality, power is about perception, influence, and control over outcomes. You can have a high position and still be powerless. You can have no title and still influence everything. Power lives in the shadows, not on nameplates. The book opens with a warning. Greene says this book is not about morality. Power does not care if you are good or bad. It rewards those who understand it, punishes those who deny it. This doesn't mean you must manipulate others. It means you must protect yourself from manipulation. Most people lose power before they even realize what happened. They trust too easily. They reveal too much. They assume others think like them. Greene argues that naivety is not innocence, it is vulnerability, and power exploits vulnerability. The first lesson woven through the book is that appearances matter more than intentions. You may mean well, you may work hard, but if your actions are misunderstood, intention will not save you. Power responds to what is seen, not what is felt. Another core idea is that emotions are dangerous in power games. Anger, pride, insecurity, and the need for validation push people into mistakes. Powerful individuals learn to observe more than they react. They pause while others rush. They stay calm while others expose themselves. Greene makes it clear that this book is not about becoming ruthless. It's about becoming aware. Awareness gives you choice. Without awareness, you are always reacting, and reactive people are easy to control. He also emphasizes that power dynamics exist even when we deny them. Offices are not just workplaces, they are political environments. Friend groups have hierarchies. Social spaces reward certain behaviors and punish others. Understanding this doesn't make you cynical, it makes you prepared. This book does not ask you to dominate. It asks you to observe, think, and act strategically, to protect your reputation, to control your impulses, to understand the games being played around you, whether you choose to play or not. Robert Greene begins the real journey into power with a brutal foundation. Reputation is everything. Before people know your abilities, they know your image. And once an image is formed, it is incredibly hard to change. Power flows to those who control how they are perceived. Greene explains that in any social or professional environment, people are constantly judging, categorizing, and labeling. This happens quietly and quickly. One careless action, one emotional outburst, one moment of weakness can define you longer than years of good work. Power does not forgive repeated mistakes. It remembers patterns. This is why Greene insists that protecting your reputation is the first law of power, not because reputation equals ego, but because reputation shapes opportunity. When people trust your strength, they hesitate to challenge you. When they sense weakness, they test boundaries. Power often moves toward what looks solid and away from what looks unstable. Another key idea here is never outshine the master. This law shocks many people at first. Why should success be hidden? Greene explains that power is not just about skill, it's about managing egos. When you make those above you feel inferior, threatened, or insecure, you create enemies without realizing it. Talent alone does not protect you from resentment. History is full of brilliant people who rose too fast and fell even faster. not because they lacked ability, but because they failed to read the emotional environment. Power punishes those who humiliate others publicly, even unintentionally. True influence often grows quietly. Greene also talks about the danger of trusting friends too much and underestimating enemies. Friends can become complacent, jealous, or careless. Enemies, on the other hand, are often more predictable. They reveal their intentions. They are motivated to prove themselves. Power comes from understanding motivations, not labels. One of the most important lessons in this part is learning to say less than necessary. Words reveal intent. The more you speak, the more you expose. Silence, on the other hand, creates mystery. It forces others to project meaning. Greene shows through history that powerful figures often spoke less, not more. They observed, they listened, they let others reveal themselves first. Another recurring theme is control over emotional reactions. Greene argues that losing emotional control is one of the fastest ways to lose power. Anger, defensiveness, and the need to explain yourself signal insecurity. When others can predict your reactions, they can manipulate you. Power also depends on timing. Acting too early exposes you, acting too late makes you irrelevant. Greene emphasizes patience. Waiting allows situations to unfold, information to surface, mistakes to be made by others. Power favors those who can delay gratification. This section of the book may feel uncomfortable because it forces you to confront a reality we often avoid. People do not always act fairly, and environments are not always honest. Ignoring this reality does not make you virtuous. It makes you vulnerable. Greene is not asking you to deceive. He is asking you to see clearly, to understand that power dynamics are already in motion around you. Once you see them, you gain choice. And choice is the beginning of power. As the book moves deeper, Robert Greene introduces a counterintuitive truth. Power grows through distance, not closeness. Many people believe constant availability builds trust and influence. Greene argues the opposite. When you are always present, always explaining, always accessible, your value drops. Scarcity creates respect. Distance creates desire. History shows this pattern again and again. Rulers who appeared too often became familiar, and familiarity bred contempt. Those who controlled their visibility became symbols, not just people. Greene isn't saying you should disappear. He's saying you should control when and how you appear. Power is amplified when your presence feels intentional, not automatic. This leads to another critical idea. Do not try too hard to be liked. People who chase approval often lose authority. They overshare, overpromise, and over-explain. Greene explains that respect often comes before affection. When people sense strength and self-control, admiration follows naturally. When they sense neediness, they pull away. Another major theme in this section is attention. Power requires attention, but not all attention is equal. Greene distinguishes between being visible and being respected. Some people are loud and constantly noticed, but easily dismissed. Others speak rarely, but when they do, the room listens. The goal is not noise. The goal is impact. Greene introduces the idea that mystery is a tool. When people cannot fully read you, they project their own assumptions onto you. This gives you an advantage. Predictability makes you controllable. Mystery keeps you ahead. This doesn't mean lying. It means not revealing everything. Another important lesson here is about intentional action. Greene warns against reacting impulsively. Reaction gives power to others. Strategic people respond, not react. They pause, they observe motives. They ask themselves not, how do I feel, but what is the smartest move here? He also emphasizes the importance of knowing when not to engage. Not every battle deserves your energy. Power is conserved by choosing fights wisely, engaging in every argument, defending every accusation, or responding to every insult lowers your status. Silence, at the right time, can be louder than defense. Greene gives historical examples of figures who won simply by letting others destroy themselves. Impatience is a weakness. Those who rush reveal their plans. Those who wait see the whole board. This part of the book pushes a hard idea. Power favors the emotionally disciplined. Intelligence without control leads to exposure. Talent without patience leads to collapse. Those who rise sustainably understand when to step forward and when to step back. At its core, this section teaches restraint, the ability to hold back words, emotions, and actions until the right moment. In a world obsessed with instant response, restraint becomes rare, and rare things become powerful. As we move further into the 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene makes one thing clear: power is rarely logical, and people are rarely rational. Many intelligent people fail not because they lack skill, but because they appeal to reason in a world driven by emotion. Power operates on feelings first, logic second. Greene explains that when you want influence, you must understand human weaknesses. People want to feel important, they want recognition, they want certainty, they want hope. Those who understand these desires can guide outcomes without force. Those who ignore them are often ignored themselves. One of the strongest lessons in this part is never appeal to someone's reason alone. Facts don't move people, emotions do. History shows that leaders who inspired loyalty spoke to fear, pride, hope, and identity. They made people feel seen. Power is not about being right, it's about being convincing. Greene also introduces the idea of playing the perfect courtier. This does not mean flattery or dishonesty. It means understanding the environment you are in. Every workplace, group, or system has unwritten rules. Successful people study these rules before acting. They adapt without losing themselves. They know when to speak, when to listen, and when to disappear. Another recurring theme is strategic positioning. Power grows when you place yourself where opportunity naturally flows. This means aligning with rising forces, not declining ones. Greene warns against loyalty to failing systems, outdated leaders, or sinking causes. Power respects momentum. Those who attach themselves to growth rise with it. Greene also talks about the danger of appearing too perfect. Flawlessness creates envy. Envy creates enemies. Powerful individuals often reveal small, controlled flaws to appear human and relatable. This lowers resistance and builds trust. Perfection isolates, relatability connects. One of the most practical lessons here is learning to control the narrative. Events do not speak for themselves. Stories do. Those who frame situations control perception. If you don't define your actions, others will define them for you. Power belongs to those who shape meaning, not just events. Greene emphasizes that victory often comes through indirect action. Direct confrontation creates resistance. Indirect influence bypasses it. History favors those who maneuver quietly rather than attack loudly. Subtlety lasts longer than force. This section of the book challenges the belief that honesty alone guarantees success. Greene argues that strategy and awareness are necessary for survival in competitive environments. Ignoring this does not make you virtuous, it makes you exposed. At its core, this part teaches a crucial shift. Stop asking, "What should I say?" and start asking, "What will people feel?" When you understand emotions, you understand power. As the book approaches its later lessons, Robert Greene shifts focus to how power is often lost, not taken. Most people don't lose influence because someone attacks them. They lose it because of overconfidence, rigidity, and ego. Power demands constant awareness. The moment you assume you've mastered it, you become vulnerable. One of the most dangerous mistakes Greene highlights is overconfidence after success. Success creates blind spots. When things go well, people stop observing, they stop listening, they begin to believe the rules no longer apply to them. History is full of powerful figures who fell not at their weakest moment, but at their strongest. Power punishes arrogance swiftly. Greene emphasizes the importance of adaptability. Power environments change constantly, alliances shift, values evolve. What worked yesterday may fail tomorrow. Those who cling to one strategy, one identity, or one method eventually get outpaced. Flexibility is not weakness, it is survival. Another major lesson here is knowing when to retreat. Society glorifies persistence, but Greene reminds us that strategic withdrawal is often the smarter move. Staying in losing battles drains resources and reputation. Powerful individuals know when to step back, reassess, and return stronger. Retreat, when chosen wisely, preserves power. Greene also warns against the need to prove yourself. The desire to show superiority, intelligence, or dominance often exposes insecurity. True power does not need constant validation. The more you feel the urge to display strength, the more likely you are to reveal weakness. Let results speak quietly. This section also explores the danger of becoming predictable. When others can anticipate your reactions, your moves lose impact. Predictability invites manipulation. Greene encourages cultivating unpredictability through controlled variation in behavior, not chaos, but strategic surprise. Another subtle but important idea is the value of learning from enemies. Enemies pay close attention. They notice flaws friends ignore. Instead of reacting emotionally, powerful individuals study their critics. Feedback, even when hostile, contains useful information. Power grows when ego shrinks. Greene also discusses the importance of ending conflicts decisively. Half measures create long-term enemies. Unresolved tensions linger and resurface. When you choose to act, act with clarity and finality. Indecision creates instability. This part of the book reinforces a key principle. Power is a long game. It rewards patience, self-control, and awareness. Short-term victories mean nothing if they damage long-term position. Most people don't lose power suddenly. They leak it slowly through emotional decisions, fixed thinking, and refusal to adapt. Greene's warning is clear. Stay alert, stay flexible, and never let success convince you that you are untouchable. As the 48 Laws of Power comes to its conclusion, Robert Greene leaves us with a final and necessary clarification. This book is about awareness, not domination. Power exists, whether we acknowledge it or not. The difference is whether we understand it well enough to protect ourselves and act with intention. Greene never asks the reader to become cruel, dishonest, or manipulative. He asks the reader to stop being naive. The laws are not rules you must follow blindly. They are patterns you must recognize. When you recognize them, you stop reacting emotionally and start choosing strategically. One of the strongest closing lessons is that power without self-control is dangerous. Knowledge amplifies intent. In the wrong hands, power corrupts. In disciplined hands, power protects. This is why Greene repeatedly emphasizes emotional mastery. Without it, understanding power only makes you more reckless. Another important idea is that not all power games are worth playing. Awareness gives you the ability to opt out. Some environments reward toxicity. Some hierarchies demand compromise of values. Power is not about winning every battle. It's about preserving long-term position, dignity, and freedom. Greene also reminds us that reputation outlives action. Short-term gains can destroy long-term trust. Those who think beyond immediate victory tend to last. Power that burns bridges eventually leaves you isolated. Power that builds quiet respect creates longevity. The book ultimately teaches discernment, knowing when to step forward, knowing when to stay silent, knowing when to engage and when to walk away. This balance is rare, and that rarity itself creates influence. So, what did the 48 Laws of Power truly teach us? It taught us that power is psychological before it is physical. That perception shapes reality more than intention. That emotional discipline beats raw intelligence. That awareness is the strongest defense against manipulation. And that strategy, when guided by ethics, becomes wisdom. This book is not a guide to controlling others. It is a guide to controlling yourself in a world where power dynamics never disappear. If you understand these laws, you don't become dangerous. You become prepared. You stop being surprised by behavior. You stop being blindsided by politics. You stop mistaking kindness for weakness and silence for ignorance. In the end, the greatest power is not influence over others. It is mastery over your own actions, emotions, and choices. And that is the real lesson of the 48 Laws of Power.